I'm Pete Oldak, owner of Jeweltown Vineyards, and today we're going to have a demonstration on pruning grapevines that have been trained to a vertical shoot positioning trellis system. And just to give you a background on it, our particular vineyard, our vines are spaced at 8 feet intervals and the rows are 8 feet apart. This is a vine as it has emerged from the winter, and with this system there are two lower wires at 30 and 36 inches, which are called fruiting wires, and then three pairs of wires at 4, 5, and 6 feet, which are called catch wires. And these catch wires have caught the shoots from last season as they've grown up. Now, what we've done at this point is we have already removed the 2-year-old wood, which was on the fruiting wires, and we're ready to start the more technical pruning to lay down 1-year-old canes on the lower wires, or the fruiting wires. And you only get grapes off of 1-year-old wood. The older wood, 2-year-old wood, is no longer able to produce grapes, and so we lay down 1-year-old canes. When we start to prune, pruning is a process of both elimination and selection. We try to eliminate those shoots that just are not favorable to the production of wine or to the production of grapes, and we try to leave behind the shoots that will eventually be most advantageous for growing grapes. And this is a Liam Malay grapevine. It produces a nice red wine in the Burgundian style. And this is an example. This is a shoot that's coming out in the aisle. We don't want that. These are little shoots that are too far below the wire. You like a fruiting cane to come out within 6 inches of the wire, and you want it to come out from below the wire so that it rests on the wire. These are, again, a couple of canes that are just too low to be of any use. And now we find this cane here is very promising. And what is an ideal cane for grape production is a 1-year-old cane, about pencil thick, with nodes, and that's where the buds come off at the nodes, about 3 to 4 inches apart. And you'll notice this fits that description. The cane right here, which is dead from here on out, you'll notice the dark gray. This portion of it is alive, and we can prune it back to 2 buds. It's in an ideal position to be what we call a renewal spur. We'll talk about that more later on. This is a cane coming out into the aisle, and this is not of any value, as is this one, which is also coming out in the aisle. And this one. We start to eliminate some of the less desirable canes so we have a better idea as to what remains and what can be laid down. Right now I'm just taking off some of the either dead wood or wood that's not going to be of any value for grape production. Okay, as we go up and try to select canes that are going to be good to lay down, this one is pointing in the right direction, but it comes from the other side of the trunk, other side of the head of the vine. And so it's not a preferable cane, and you want to take that out if you can. This cane might be a good one up here. This one might be good. This one might be good. This one is good, except it's dead from about the 4th node out. So we cut this one back to 2 nodes also as a renewal spur. This one is pointing out towards the aisle, the mid row, and we want to. And the thing is, you want to look twice and cut once. You want to make sure you get the cane that you want, not its neighbor. Okay, now we've got 1, 2, 3 good canes here for 2 wires, and it's a matter of seeing which will lay down best. And this one lays down on the upper wire nicely, and this one likewise lays down on the upper wire nicely. Now, grape canes, as they grow during the summer, if there's a lot of vigor, put out what's called a lateral. This is a lateral right here, and I'm not going to select this cane for fruiting purposes, but I do want to demonstrate that if you have a lateral, normally instead of cutting it back to the cane, you might cut it back to the first bud on the lateral, because this is more fruitful than the basal bud. The other thing is, if you look down here, we have this rather thick cane coming up. This is called a bull cane. In this situation, the nodes are 8 inches or more apart, and rather than being thick as a pencil, it's thick as a cigar. And this is something that you would is a sign of excessive vigor from the previous season, and it's not very fruitful. It looks great, it looks big, it looks healthy, but it basically does not overwinter well and is usually not productive of grapes the following year. So that's going to be taken out. Now we'll come to this side and take a look at what we've got here. This one is dead on the distal buds, this cane, but we won't cut it back to 2 buds as a potential renewal. Now we're looking at the what are going to be potentially good canes to lay down on the fruiting wire. This one, as I mentioned before, is coming off too low, so we take it out. The other thing is that any wood that you have on your vine that's old or dead, you'd like to take that